Hello, everyone. Welcome to Monday Night Twitch, or kind of. This is a very, very different version of Monday Night Twitch. I am Mike, the Wandering Took, and I am flying solo tonight because Daniel is away on vacation, and I did not plan a backup because it is a really long weekend up here for us. So tonight, I thought instead of getting a game together, maybe just run through some deck building because I want to investigate some of the older investigators with the newer cards, and I want to pull out just some more decks to have on hand. So I don't know where this is going to go. Feel free to chime in on chat if you have ideas, uh, and I will, of course, do my best to watch. So the rules, ground rules. I'm going to be building. Well, we'll start with two, possibly three decks. One will be a fighty deck, one more of a clue deck, and then one flex. This is going to be for multiplayer, not solo friendly. It'll be the goal of being played with either a 2 to 4 player team, and yeah, therefore I don't have to hedge my weaknesses that much. A little bit, obviously, but uh, gives me a lot more freedom to play around. I will also be very choosy with the investigators. I'm going to avoid the ones that I've played a lot of, because inevitably I'll just remake the same deck again. This is all about exploring either new cards, new heroes, maybe old heroes that everyone has played with except me. Let's find out. So I thought I would start out. Oh my gosh, Will Dexter with the new TSK stuff. Interesting. Okay, I'll think about him. Will, what do you think about him as a flex character? And to start, I'm actually going to start with Silas because I have never played Silas before. I don't play a whole lot of Survivor. He looks fun. He's definitely of the fighty type. And what's really neat about him is that he's entirely skill based, right? His ability after you reveal a chaos token during the skill test you're performing, return a skill you committed to this test to your hand. Limit once per round. So more skills is better. I'm sure there's lots of shenanigans you can play around with. He's got access to all of the innate cards. We could see what that does. But I'm thinking right off the bat, run him really cheap. Make this more of a simpler build. If anything is going to be janky, it's going to be in what skills to pull back and why. I'm okay with that. But if we go for super simple, get him a whole bunch of stuff that he can pitch. Let's see what this looks like. All right, so I am going to be building a level 0-ish deck. Let's say level 0, but also have an idea of what to upgrade into. The first thing I want to look at is what off-class access he has here. So Guardian, oh my goodness, Sledgehammer. Daring's a good skill. 3 icons. The enemy gains retaliate, but you get to draw a card. That's pretty darn good. Helping Hand, while it's committed to the test, double the skill icons of each other card committed to the test. I don't... That would be a very situational in a multiplayer game. I'm tempted not to put that in. Allies, I'm not anticipating having much allies in there, so we can ignore that. Steadfast is a maybe. That's an interesting one. The potential 3-fist. Actually, the potential to get to 5 will is neat. Mystic, we've got Defiance, which is neat. And Fearless. I don't think Silas is going to be banking on passing will tests, so we won't do Fearless. Defiance is cool because I can pull it back if it whiffs. That's a neat one. Rogue, okay. Oh, I'm not going to have lots of resources, so Cunning's no use. Nimble. For each point this skill test succeeds by, after it resolves, you may immediately move to a connecting location to a maximum of 3 times. Okay. Here's why I'm thinking Nimble is a good card. Because rogues have all the movement. Seeker has some funky movement abilities. Guardian generally doesn't, but they do have, um, what's that? The one where you follow another character. You guys know the one I'm thinking of. Safeguard, that's the one. Survivor doesn't really have much in the way of movement. Like even Mystic has the janky stuff like Open Gates and Astral Travel. So if Silas is going to get locked down with enemies and he has to catch up to the Seekers, how is he going to do it? And I'm wondering if Nimble might be his only option for getting some free moves. I don't know. I'm going to throw one of in there just to have it in there. Opportunist, I don't see that. Quick thinking. If you succeed by 2 or more. That's a tough one because Survivor is all about failing or barely passing, and Rogue's all about passing by a lot. I don't really see. That might be very useful, but yeah. And Seeker, what do we got here? Curiosity, nope. Eureka doesn't have a fist pip, otherwise I would totally take that. See, my only thing about taking Nimble is that how often is he going to evade? And maybe it's not about that. Maybe it's about when he evades or does his fleetness test against treacheries, for example. Okay, so there's really not a ton I'm seeing here for him. So one thing I want to do is I definitely want to take Grizzled because that sounds so darn cool. Oh yeah, good point there, Will. Quick thinking, Silas can pull if I don't succeed. Okay, Grizzled, customizable. How many? It starts with 2 traits? That's already big. Because really, what I was thinking was always prepared. After you draw an encounter card with the chosen trait, return 1 copy of Grizzled from your discard to your hand. See, his ability is only once per turn, and I want to be able to grab more cards back than that. So I think Grizzled might be a really good way to do that. I mean, every scenario has the key enemy that you're going to be fighting against. That alone is good. And you could pick a Mythos card that you're bad at as well. Terror might be a good one for him, given his low will. Anyways, I'm really excited about Grizzled. Let's see here. This is interesting. The item asset one with able-bodied, except that he has a lot of items. He does. They're both items. I am looking at, where is it? Stunning Blow is neat. If this skill test is successful during an attack, automatically evade the attacked enemy. I like that for those really big monsters. This does not say non-elite. Let's see. Those are the big ones. Even resourceful, I mean, that could be useful. I have a feeling I'm going to end up cutting that. So here's the issue with Silas that I'm seeing, because I've done a little bit of looking, and my wife played a Silas deck once. And he's a fighter that doesn't have access to all of the damage output. He doesn't have Rogue, he doesn't have Guardian. There is some really cool high damage Survivor stuff, but it's all two-handed. And he's got his Harpoon, which is great. Gives him +1 damage, lets him pull back a lot of cards. He's got his Net, which is another, basically the same thing, but for evasion. So what has he got in terms of weapons, really? So how am I going to be killing stuff, basically? Actually, something has just, yeah, see, Sledgehammer is two-handed. Just realized something. The Grizzly Totem. let's just say I threw in Grizzly Totems because this lets me add pips to skill cards, which is really cool. That's an item. Assuming that he fights with a weapon, I'm thinking of throwing in a backpack. It's not like he needs any other armor. He doesn't have that much in the way of card draw. He's got card pull back, but not card draw. So that might be really good. Okay, he does have that low 5 sanity. Now my immediate thought was Sylvester. Is it Sylvester? What's the guy's name? You know what I'm talking about. Peter Sylvester, yeah. But it's not a necessity. I mean, if someone else came to the table and they desperately needed Peter, I mean, he's good, but there's a lot of nice soak in Silas. In fact, what am I thinking? That cherished keepsake is an item that I can pull out with a backpack. This is starting to really come together. New survivor permanent that cuts your deck in half. Will, are you talking about short supply? Peter plus meat cleaver. Okay, Peter plus meat cleaver is a good idea. It's you need them both though, right? Although that's not a bad thought. Okay. Hey, what about Dark Horse? I mean, if I'm running keepsake costs nothing. Okay, wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. What if I threw in Dark Horse and who's that other ally that gives you money when you don't have money? You can tell I really don't play Survivor, hey? Madame LeBranche, does she have... She's got 2 sanity. It's not nothing. Okay. Okay, here's what I'm thinking here. Let's throw Peter in the side deck. What if I went super, super cheap? Like, this was everything that actually cost me money. And then I threw in Fire Axe. Just as a potential. We can throw in more weapons than that, and I probably would throw in more weapons than that. But if he's running 4 Fist already... Yeah, Dark Horse getting him to 3-3-5-5 might make him pretty darn good. Hi, Catherine. Yeah. Okay, so even if I use Dark Horse to start with $0, if Madame LeBranche gives me $1, I can boost that to a 7 Fist, effectively, with Dark Horse. That's, okay, I'm deciding to go less janky on the fighting and more janky on the skills for this one. That's what I'm deciding. So, the Peter Sylvester thing is great. I'm going to save it for somebody else because this is looking pretty darn awesome. What do we got? Wow. So as you can see, I've also thrown in all of his, both copies of his, what are they called? His cards. He's got the ones from his alternate version from his book, Nautical Prowess, which shores up his weaknesses. It's basically 2 pips, plus another 2 pips if you draw a Chaos token with a negative modifier. Yeah. Which is innate as well. Oh my gosh, Will, you're right. Schaffner's catalog. Scavenging, I don't know, because he's not going to be built to do a lot of cloovering, and I don't want to throw in scavenging just for that. But Schaffner's is a neat idea. Do I have to use that to pay for items? I do. Okay, here's another question. Is there... Actually, that catalog, given that it can pay for the backpacks, the totems, that's not bad at all. What about those triple class cards? Is there something in there? I mean, I'm honestly not seeing it because Schaffner's kind of does everything I want it to here. Yeah, Dark Horse is a condition. No, I don't think there's anything like that. What about the... Well, actually, yeah, the other option is those, what is it, Scrapper? That lets me spend money for skill tests. Okay, I'm just going to bump up to higher level versions here. Just to see what else I can get. Okay, Bruiser can help for melee cards. That's not even worth it, is it? I mean, it could let me recur my Harpoon. That's kind of a cheesy idea. I'm throwing this one in the sideboard. Whoops. Let's go to the skills here. Guardian, no higher level skills he can take. Mystic, I don't see the point of Guts. Oh, the leveled up Defiance. Okay. Ignore all effects of the special symbols during this test, including their modifiers. Now, let's say you were playing Innsmouth and you get stuck with that treachery that says when you draw a tablet, you automatically fail. But that's on the card. Does this cancel that? My gut says no, because that effect is on the card and this doesn't change the symbol. But it says ignore all the effects. Because that might really bump up my opinion of it. Rogues, manual decks. I don't know. Opportunist, no. Savant, no, I don't see Savant being that useful because survivors have lots of ways of getting +2 pips. Fae, no. Okay. Brute Force, yes. Hells yes. I think that's an auto include in him. Probably the first 2 XP. You know, isn't there another thing that interacts with innate cards? Well, there it is. True Survivor. Return 3 innate cards from your discard pile to your hand. It costs 3, though. Costs 3. It's a spirit card. Okay, let's just see. Prophetic is the one that deals with spirit cards. Am I barking down a rabbit hole that I don't want to go down? Probably. Because I don't have any fortune or spells. Yeah, no, forget that. Thought I had a way of using True Survivor without using his money. In the end, that just might be too hard to do. I'm with you, Catherine. It's hard to get this one to work. It's 3 cost. And you know what? If it's Silas on a stick, then why put it in Silas? No, I'm not going that direction. 2 is you can do with Madame Leblanche and an action. 3 is just out of control. Okay, let's get back here. What was Not sure what's happening here. Okay, I want to look at weapons. See, and this is why Oriana chose the Time Worn brand, because it's single-handed. I don't necessarily want to copy that, but I'll throw it in my side deck. 5 XP, that's a lot. Oh, I am going with Fire Axe. I was just looking at my upgraded options. And if I'm the fighter, I like to have more than 2 weapons in my deck. Fire Axe is definitely sticking in there. I guess what happens if I'm stuck with an enemy that has 10 hit points? Do I just sit there for 5 actions? I guess Brute Force gives me extra damage. There's nothing else in here. Okay, looking up, Will is looking at Dig Deep. Yep, there's that. See, I don't know if I need to. I was thinking about how to shore up his weaknesses, but I'm not sure I need to do that so much because between Grizzled and Steadfast and Nautical Prowess, that's, I mean, those are all wild icons. I mean, even Defiance can help in a pinch. Uh, the upgraded Grizzly Totem, let's see. If the skill test fails, return that card to your hand. That's a maybe. Just a maybe. I guess that's nice. Oh my god, haha, the old hunting rifle. No way. Has anyone ever played with that? Seriously, has anyone ever played with that thing? Plus, it's two-handed. It competes with his spear. There it is. There's Scrapper. Okay. What is the Seeker card equivalent to physical training? What does that give you? Shrine of the Morai. Oh, I remember that. Oh boy. Draw the top card of the encounter deck. Spend an offering to draw things. Yikes. Hyper Awareness is the Seeker one. Yep, that's what I meant. The Survivor equivalent. Unexpected Courage is great. Dig Deep. Oh, that is the one. Okay. Okay, never mind. Okay, Will, I poo-pooed it, but then I forgot that this was the one that has its own resources on it. That makes it better. Unexpected Courage is also really nice for mitigating those junky will tests. And then we've Grizzled. I get 5, probably 6 XP on this thing. That's looking like quite a bit of experience. Okay, 23 cards. Now, let's see here. I can afford to double up on things. It'd be nice to have doubles of Madame Lebranche and Dark Horse, but those are so not the tests he's taking. But what happens if I do? If I really lean into this? Double Defiance is fun. Double Quick Thinking is fun. Resourceful lets me take back only... Oh, this is any Survivor card. Oh, I was getting confused with the other one, where you can only take back level 0. That's nice. I can see that as a way of recycling cherished keepsakes, stunning blows, Shrofner's catalog maybe. You know what? Even just bumping up all my skills like this gives me 30 cards. I don't know, is this weird? Is this too much? I don't know what to think. I'm so not used to playing this type of deck. Not without hordes and hordes of card draw. Alright, I will leave the chat to think about it for a minute. You're right, no events. Events cost money, Catherine. Okay, what events don't cost money? Test of Will. Active Desperation is not going to be useful. I don't like End of the Road. I really don't. Jury Rig. Huh. Actually, you know what I don't have? Because I was being silly, is I don't have Overpower. That's how I draw cards. I definitely want 2 of those. In fact, I would take them instead of a Steadfast. Well, I'd be tempted to, yeah. I mean, there's always that one will test, right? What if I did one of those? Quick thinking, hey. 2 or more. This is the one I'm having the most trouble with, is quick thinking. Because I'm seeing, like, good uses for the rest and moderate uses for quick thinking. Short supply plus resourceful is better than backpacking, in your opinion. Yeah, you're not wrong, Will. Uh, I don't like short supply. Suppose you're right, Catherine. Resourceful's not doing a ton. I mean, I could use it for the chair's keepsake. That's really all it would do. And stunning blow, but I don't necessarily need that. So if I drop that to... You know what? Resourceful brings back brute force. Is that worth it alone? To throw 2 in there. I'm tempted. I'm tempted. Okay, I want to get back to these events since Catherine reminded me that that card type exists. Glimmer of Hope. Glimmer of Hope I like in a lot of decks, but I'm not seeing it here. Chance Encounter, no, definitely not. Fight or Flight, not ideal. Nope, not Grit Your Teeth. He sits in a weird space where he's not failing tests, but he's not passing by a lot. Not enough. Look what I found. Dumb Luck. Keep, you know what? Keep Faith I'm going to put on the side deck. Because it's always handy to have that in your back pocket if someone's playing Bless. It's one of the best Bless cards in the game, in my opinion. No, not Shed a Light, not Trial by Fire. Yeah, maybe we can call this deck Mike builds a Survivor deck, not like a Survivor. That's why you don't see Lucky in there, Will. All right, I'm going to save this up. I'll think on it. Maybe give it a quick try at some point and see where it goes. Let's move on. I want to look at Monterey Jack. totally admitting that it's hard to get one's head around this type of build where you start in one class but level into another. Things I like right away is that if he's going to be, well, he's going to be a cleaver, right? We're agreed he's a cleaver. He's more a cleaver than a flexor. I mean, he goes into Seeker, 4 book, 5 fleetness, but he's got the 5 fleetness, so if he gets stuck with rats, Roland doesn't have to run across the board to save him. And yes, he'll have to run across the board because he's Monterey Jack. The bullwhip is nice. In fact, that bullwhip is so useful. I am already looking at that card. I can never remember, Catherine. Which one is it? The one where you dig out the card? Any card you want? No stone unturned. There we go. There we go. I might actually want that card later. Okay, things I've seen. I've seen him with Eon chart, which is a neat idea. In fact, he can get the upgraded Eon chart too. That gives him a lot of movement, extra investigate, extra evade, both things he's really good at. Throw it in his back pocket. What else here? He's got that high book and high fleetness. It's really unfortunate he can't take Chuck Fergus, hey? All right, so rogue events that add your stats together. Not backstab, although backstab I'm not against because that's a way to dealing extra damage. Cheap shot adds your fist to your fleetness. I don't know. What are the other ones? Grappling hook. Isn't grappling hook just a Kamani card? Grappling hook is a Kamani card. He cannot take it. I have seen people throw in Eon chart with Ariadne's Twine. And that is a neat one. Because that lets you pay money to turn it into secrets. And that's almost too good to ignore. So he's also going to have a reasonable bit of money. I see a lot of lockpicks, but if this is going to be used multiplayer, I'd rather throw other things in my hand slots than that. I'm also seeing his 4 book, and he's going to have to shore that up if he's going to be doing some investigation. I would rather see a fingerprint kit than a lockpicks. I mean, it's not as big a skill boost, but if he can't level up his lockpicks, I don't really like that. He's probably going to be succeeding by a bunch because he's got some rogue aspects in him, so consider a lucky cigarette case. Okay, what else can we consider here? That one that lets you move. Scout ahead. Move 3 times. Enemies don't engage you during this movement. Yes, definitely. Okay. Does he need any money generation? If he's potentially getting $2 a turn, I'm going to throw Faustian Bargain in the sideboard. And again, this is in case other people need the money as well. Right. Let's look at some of the skills here, because I like skills. Quick thinking, that wild icon. Nimble, I don't know if he needs the nimble anymore. I mean, it's useful because it helps trigger his ability. Hatchet Man. If his skill test is successful during an evasion, the next time the enemy takes a damage this turn, deal it 1 additional damage. That is so situational. Cunning. Calculated risk? That's an interesting one. Watch this is neat, but it doesn't have a book icon. Okay. Well, shortcut path. Oh, field work. Field work, of course. Thank you, Catherine. Okay. You know what? He only gets five level 0 cards. I think field work is definitely there. I'm thinking logical reasoning. And I'm thinking that because he's got 1 will and he needs a way to get rid of, uh, you know, that one, the terror one. Yikes. Shortcut is really good too. Here's the tough thing, because if you start with level 0 and you level them up, then you have to pay experience to fill up your level 0 slots again. I want to throw in deductions, but I also really want higher level deductions. I want, you know what, I don't necessarily want higher level shortcut, but I might want the fingerprint kits. Is this what it looks like so far? A shortcut, maybe 1 field work, 2 shortcuts, and 2 logical reasonings, just as the 5. Oh, you're right. If I exile cards, oh my. With exile cards, that's true, but because I'm not exiling, I can't. So I would be, let's say I filled up my entire deck list. I have 5 level 0 cards, and one of them is deduction. I level up deduction to a level 2 deduction. That's it. I have my full deck list still, because I didn't lose any cards. All I did was upgrade 1. So I have effectively lost a slot. With the exile cards, the reason that works is because you actually go down 29 cards, and that's illegal, so you have to fill it up somehow. And you can absolutely fill it up with an extra level 0 if it turns out that you upgraded it. Which, yeah, a little unfortunate. Which means that level 0 Monterey Jack is not awesome. He doesn't have any of that stuff. Oh, what about Eureka? Searching your deck for stuff? Ooh. Because there's another one that wouldn't ever get upgraded. Logical reasoning might get upgraded, but I doubt it. It's what, 4 XP? Okay, so stuff's coming in through the chat. We have Genet, of course. Oh, hang on. Taboo list. We're going taboo, by the way. Because after playing Broken Amanda twice in different ways of breaking it, I decided to go full taboo, and then I broke her again. So yeah, I'm okay playing taboo. What is Genet now? Is Genet a 5 coster? Yeah, 5 cost. Moving a clue or an enemy. from a connecting location to your location or vice versa. That is really nice. Is it worth in the thick of it? Oh, right, hiking boots. Of course, hiking boots. Yeah, I'm pretty much going for anything that gives movement, hey? Okay, so what are the things that maximize clues? Because that's why I'm here. Like, it's my personal belief that if you're going to slurp up clues, uh, your best classes to pair together are Survivor and Seeker. Rogue has really good ways of getting a clue, but maybe not a ton. What's nice about this is this gives me the extra money and the extra movement. So let's... Oh, that Eon chart. The money feeding Ariadne's Twine is really nice. Okay, what do you guys feel about Lone Wolf? Do you think Lone Wolf kind of loses its muster in multiplayer? Because on the one hand, he's not dealing with any enemies that are on him, so someone's going to be at his location. But on the other hand, he's moving like mad, and he might outpace people anyways. Let's get some perceptions in there. Those could be leveled up. Let's get some manual dexes in there, because those could be leveled up. He's got the same problem as Silas in that he's got this low will. So you handle this. Is nice. Let's throw a single version of Lone Wolf in. He's going to eventually need Relic Hunter, isn't he? If I keep the Lucky Cigarette case. Just throw that in the side deck. Does he look at Malison? Or is Janae so good that he just keeps Janae and then goes to Forewarned? I don't know if I want to go for that full clue drop tech in Monterey. Daredevil. Oh yeah, Daredevil. No, not quite. I want to look at leveled up Seeker. This time I'll start with the events. Forewarned. Let's just throw a couple in there because that's a possibility. Logical reasoning. For each clue you have, heal 2 horror. That's so good. I don't need mind over matter. That's the great thing about him. On the trail, move towards enemies. I would absolutely take this in 2-player. I'm not convinced it's as useful in 4-player, since you may have to sit at locations. So I'm just going to throw a copy of that in the sideboard. Yeah, no. Join the caravan? No, I'm not going to be doing that. Okay, into the rogues again. So it looks like if I go 2 fingerprint kits, eventually, that's 2 things in my hand slot. What is it? It's a tool. Crafty gives me bonuses for tools. That might be worth it. Getting a lot of... Ugh. That's a lot of assets. That's my weakness whenever I play anything with Seeker. I end up overdoing the assets. Okay, I can definitely go to higher level perceptions in the side deck. Embezzled treasure, hey? That's an asset, isn't it? Move up to 2 resources from your resource pool. 2 embezzled treasures. Oh, let's side deck that one, because that's an interesting one. His level 0 deck is looking so bad. He's basically just running. Okay, so yeah, a couple backstabs. I believe you said cheap shot there, Will. Lets you attack and evade at the same time. Yeah. You know what? He is getting money. Gonna need money for those events. So let's just move Faustian Bargain into his core events. Investments, I don't... Leather jacket. Okay, is it worth in the thick of it? Because this is so not good. What would that get him? That could get him... Never mind. That gets him 1 deduction. That's all right. Obfuscation, pickpocketing, streetwise. I don't think he needs streetwise. There aren't any weapons that attack with your fleetness, are there? I think they all require additional things, like, is it sharpshooter? Ornate bow. Yeah. You have to reload that bow, don't you? Ornate bow. It's a relic? You mean I could use Ellie and fish that out? 1 ammo on ornate bow. Spend an ammo. Yeah. I mean, he's hitting for a 7. Deals +2. Yeah. That's rough. I'm going to side deck just for the kicks. I can see that solo. Gregory Gree. Does he get me some early cash? Early sanity soak, early cash, just until I get Genet. I want an additional nimble. I want an additional lucky cigarette case. Oh boy. Do I... Intel report. That's a way of getting multiple clues. Yee. Okay, I have to think about this. So this clue acceleration is basically going to be coming solely from deductions and fingerprint kits, which is still good. And additional actions through the Eon charts. So if I prioritize those 3, that's okay. And then the rest can be hiking boots, field work. Hiking boots gets me an additional fleetness, not field work. Pathfinder. Pathfinder costs 2 additional experience now. That might be too much. On the trail is so neat. I don't know if I want to run to an enemy, but yeah. Okay, that's oh, contains forbidden cards, of course, because I have 2 cards in here that I shouldn't have. Fieldwork has to stay. I think the shortcuts go. I feel like I need the dig from Eureka. I could either swing 1 and 1, logical reasoning and shortcut, or ditch both shortcuts. But he does have 2 copies of Scout Ahead already. If he's going Eon charts, he may not need the shortcuts. So I'm just going to side deck those for now. Which opens up 2 more. What are my neutral cards like? Fine clothes are actually, I always like putting in a copy for those parlay tests. I mean, good flashlight. Yeah, good flashlight. Isn't there a fast soak? Leather jacket, isn't that fast? It is fast. That could be useful. Stealth. Thieves kit. Thieves kit. Costs 3. You may use fleetness instead of book. I don't know about that. That's something for my hand slot, though, until I get the fingerprint kits. Thieves kit's not that bad. Let's side deck the fine clothes and put in a thieves kit. Okay. That's, I mean, he's fast at least. Is that what he does? He runs around so fast that he can afford to not have much compression at the beginning? I'm not enamored with this, I won't lie. Of course, we'll have to see if I try it. I'll save that one for now. Okay, those are the only 2 that I actually thought about. I like to do one more, thinking more a flex deck, but I wasn't sure who to pick. I feel like you can go 2 ways. You can either do someone whose stats are fairly well balanced, and they look well balanced in themselves, or someone who really leans heavy into one, but then has deck access for another. For example, Tony Morgan has 5 fight, but you can build him for Seeker. That's a fun one. Lily Chen, I've done a lot of. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. Mandy Thompson is fun support, but she's basically one trick, isn't she? Yeah. Norman Withers, I haven't played. Safina It's a tough one to crack. What about Winnie? I haven't played Winnie since the starter deck came out. That could be an interesting one. Means building another rogue, but it's a very different rogue. Brother Mateo. Three intellect, 2 combat. I want to go flex, though. Oh, and he doesn't have... That's right, he's the blessed one. Jim's got 3 and 3. Tommy's got a 3 intellect. Tony's got a 3 intellect. That surprises me. Wendy's not a fighter. This is Zoe. Wendy's 3 and 3. If I go rogue, I think I'll choose her. Okay, what else have we got for mystics here? Marie Lambeau, who scares the bejesus out of me, and probably anyone I play with. Jacqueline Fine, combat. Jacqueline falls in the same camp as Rex Murphy for me, in that they seem fun, but the mechanic, in her case, her mechanic, and in Rex's case, his weakness, just slowed the game down so much. Gloria is not a combat. Diana's her own beast. Dexter Drake. I actually never played Dexter Drake. Okay, what are your thoughts? The Dexter or the Winnie? Or Carolyn. Carolyn could flex. She can't take weapon cards, but she can take some dynamite. One moment here. Oof, Carolyn's got a 3 willpower. That's got to be boosted. Calvin scares me. All right, let's try Dexter just because. I know so little about him. Okay, what has he got? He's got occult scraps. as his weakness. Oh, yeah. You have to use his special ability to put out occult scraps, and it nerfs his will. He's got 5 will. That's great. I think that's how he's going to get clues. Showmanship. After an asset enters play, you can trigger. Okay, so other question is, what about his specials? Because he's got 2 other cards. What is his assistant's name? Is it Molly somebody? Molly Maxwell? Exhaust her and deal her a horror to name a trait, any trait. One at a time, reveal cards from the top of your deck until that trait is revealed and draw that asset. It's a cool idea. You really have to build around her and really have to know your deck. I forget what his weakness is. I think it's a monster. But it's been a while since I've looked at that. Okay, so where to start? Where to start? Okay, let's look at some clues. Clue gathering. So he gets neutral 0 to neutral mystic 0 to 5, rogue up to level 2. I don't play a ton of mystic, but I play some. So right off the bat, I love divination. I'm going to throw that in the sideboard. I just find it's really good value for the cost, especially in multiplayer when you can just slurp up a whole bunch of clues at once at your location. But that's not going to work at the beginning. I'm just going to throw in both copies here. Divinations. Yeah, and it gets you, what, 4 charges for the first one and 6 for the second? I mean, that's pretty darn good. Now, can he get away with hand slots for combat and will slots for clues? Is that possible in his build? He's only got a 3/5, so he's going to have to play around a bit with that. I haven't even thought about Dexter before, so this is going to take me a little bit longer. Let's just see what leveled up assets. Okay, so you've got your things like your Derringer. Okay, so he's got his standard guns, which give him a nice healthy boost to his fist. Really good. Ooh, Blur. Big fan of Blur as well, just for the extra action it gives you. And he wants to go really, really asset heavy. Okay, so he's got, what is that thing called? The Sword Cane? Is that the one that was tailor-made for him? Doesn't attack, doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity. As soon as you play it, you can immediately use it. Oh yeah, using your will to fight or evade? Heck yeah, okay. That's really handy stuff. Okay, what are you looking at here, Will? How crazy powerful do you want to be? Sign magic plus all the spells that have limited resources is crazy. What is sign magic? You have 1 additional arcane slot, which can only be used to hold spell or ritual assets, and sign magic 3, I assume. Wow. Okay. After you activate an ability on a spell or ritual asset, exhaust sign magic to do the same thing with a different spell or ritual asset without paying its action cost. you still would pay the spell cost. And then recycle them with Dexter. See, this is where the cards like Divination and what's that Flaming Sword one are really good in Dexter if you can recycle them. Wait, hang on. Recycle them? Does he actually recycle? How do you... The only way to pull things back is with his Elder Sign, right? Or am I missing something? You discard an asset you control to play a different one from your hand. So rather than a recycle, it's just a simple cycle, I believe. Is what we're getting at here. Okay, so Sign Magic is very cool. Let's throw a couple copies of that in. You know what? What if I go everything that has the text investigate? Clairvoyance, which has me take horror, okay. If a special token is revealed. Dowsing Rod, no. I have Chaos. Oh, it costs 5, that's why, okay. Where's the downside to Eye of Chaos, even if you don't use curses? Okay, that costs 5. Rite of Seeking. Whew. The downside to Rite of Seeking is just awful. In fact, I think I would go put in 2 Clairvoyances and then throw in Fearlesses to negate the horror that I will inevitably be taking. Speaking of, let's get some skills in here. Let's get Guts. Fearless. Down the rabbit hole might be something to consider here. Okay, so Dexter's going to need as much card draw as he can possibly get. And that's going to come from his rogue access. Oh my, quick thinking. Just throw one in there. So I'm immediately thinking good old... Where are you? Lucky Cigarette Case. Leveled up Lucky Cigarette Case is beyond 2, right? Yeah, it's 3. Darn it. Other ways of getting cards. Yeah, they're all the rogue card getting stuff is much bigger than this. Or much more experienced than this. Watch this might be neat because he's going to need the money. He's going to really need the money. In fact, I'm thinking Faustian Bargain as well for him. And he might even need more than that. He might know on Easy Mark eventually. Rogue access, but only 2 fleetness? Yeah. What do you do with that? What do you do with that? I don't think he's going to have the money to do any of the rogue pay-to-win stuff. Well, he says he loves to doom on Renfield. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. Do I have an ally yet? I don't. Let's just, let's throw in one Renfield, but I'm not sold on that. He scares me. I mean, he can take Scout ahead. He can move a lot, too. Sneak attack? No. He's not sneak attacking. He's not... Sleight of hand. Put an item asset into play from your hand. At the end of your turn, return it to your hand. Not useful because it's an item. Kicking the hornet's nest. Oh, thank you. Setting taboo. Yeah, I forgot about the Renfield taboo. Okay, delve too deep, obviously. Drawn to the flame, of course. Okay, let's get back to my mystic assets that do things. Clairvoyance is here. Let's put... Yeah, let's put a Rite of Seeking in. Yuck. Armageddon, again, costs a whole lot of money. We have the Azure Flame. I take damage if that one goes the wrong way. Shriveling I can handle. Yeah, he's definitely going to want Fearless. This is such a weird build, I don't know what to think about it. If I down the rabbit hole, then Easy Mark costs 2, but I get 3 cards out of the deal. I can upgrade Sign Magic. I can't do Renfield, I can't do Divination, but I can the second Divination. And I could always upgrade into the higher level Shrivelings. Is there a higher level as your Flame? There is. I assume a higher level Clairvoyance. I can do a higher level Fearless. Okay, down the rabbit hole's looking not so bad. So I still have to think about allies. Ugh, what happened here? One moment. Oops, that should be it. Okay, there we go. All right, we have Alyssa Graham, the Arcane Initiate for finding all my spells. Olive McBride's not helping me. Familiar Spirit. Holding additional spells. Here's the other thing I'm noticing about Dexter is that he has to discard an asset. So do I want sacrificial assets? But if I discard an asset, okay, I've already got Sign Magic. Is Familiar Spirit worthwhile? And I know, Will, you were thinking David Renfield. Those Arcane Initiates are probably going to be highly useful. And if I level up... Oh yes, the Sigil. Nikosi's a neat one. Ikiak. That's just neat. That's very neat. Oh yeah, no, Ella. Diana doesn't do much. The upgraded Arcane Initiate. Okay, even that can be upgraded. Twilight Catherine Price. After you spend one or more charges from a spell asset, exhaust her to put more on. That I do have to consider. Okay, Brand of Cthulhu, that's the one I'm thinking of. Blurs. Robes of Endless, the Robes of Endless Night. When I play a spell card, exhaust it to reduce the cost of that card by 1. Yes, I like that. And I really like that it upgrades into the second version where it doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity. Okay, now I'm thinking those other cards that I have never played before. Arcane Research? Suffer a mental trauma so that the first spell you upgrade happens for free. And if I go down the rabbit hole, so I start with mental trauma, but I basically, oh, the wording on this is fascinating. I don't actually get a discount on 3 spells. I get a discount on exactly 2 spells. 2 on the first one and 1 on the second. Wow. I think he needs Defiance at some point. The higher level Defiance, if he's going to be pulling out. No, he doesn't. Not if he. I was thinking just so he doesn't trigger the bad effects on some of his spells. But if I go full on Brand of Cthulhu and Divination, then I'm not going to need that. This should not be here. That should be in the side deck. So let's give him an evade spell. Mists of Relay. What are the other ones? Ooh, Ineffable Truth is actually really bad. Losing money. Is cards worse than money in Dexter? Who knows? Shroud of Shadows. Well, I think I put in additional. Yeah. Get into the thick of it for suggestion. Which one's suggestion? Oh my gosh, you're right. Whew. Oh, I can't get the leveled up suggestion, can I? No, I'm flat out 2 on that. Okay. In the thick of it is that's an interesting one. Let's throw that in the sideboard as an option. If I'm already taking Arcane Research. This is a weird one. Is this even enough money? Do I need to axe some cards here. Maybe I axe a Scout Ahead and Quick Thinking and just put in 2 copies of Emergency Cash. I think I do that. As much as I like these spells, or these skills, that might be what I have to do. Interesting that I don't actually have anything that boosts his raw skills, hey? So Lucky Cigarette Case is only doing so much. I'm basically banking on his higher level spells to do this. So, you know what? Let's look at Prophetic for higher level. Yeah, here's a fun one. If I go down the rabbit hole, if I choose to in the thick of it first and purchase a new card, that would happen before down the rabbit hole. Yeah, because it's not considered a new card. Starting with an early Prophetic is really nice. Okay, so now I'm looking at the Healing Horror one. How Clarity of Mind, is that the one? There's something to be said for Healing Horror now that the leg injury and arm injury exists. What if I threw a couple of those in? Drop the Azure Flame down. I don't think I need the Delve 2 Deeps anymore. So then the Azure Flame goes back up. The easy marks will bump out a couple things. That's fine. That's totally fine. I feel Earthly Serenity. Is that the one? Oh, yeah. I have never played with Earthly Serenity before, but it is a really good healing spell. Let's throw that in the side deck. Okay, so we're going to go 1 copy of Prophetic and in the thick of it. So yeah, the flame will go down by 1. So this gets me a couple healing spells, 3 of each, a combat spell and investigate spell, 2 Drawn to the Flames, but 2 Sword Canes, a Lucky Cigarette Case, and Arcane Initiates to help dig for cards, a Robe of Endless Night to help reduce the cost of things, and a whole bunch of money, and some will boosts. It's neat. Again, I'm not sure what this is going to do until I play with it, but this is looking really cool. I think I might have to go back and revisit Monterey again. You know what I forgot in him? I forgot all the book boosts. Well, Will, I think down the rabbit hole is going to be perfectly fine here. It might hurt. If I use it to purchase the new spells like Brand of Cthulhu, Divination, Earthly Serenity, then it's net neutral when I upgrade them. And they will absolutely It'll absolutely help with Sign Magic and Shriveling, Clairvoyance, all that stuff. Ropes of Endless Night, Arcane Initiates, Fearless, Guts. So I think it's going to work out well. It's actually the Arcane Research I'm going to get rid of. Or is Arcane Research the one do I really want to live at 5, starting the game with 5 horror? Or sorry, 5 sanity on me? I don't think I do. Yeah, let's stick with this. See where it goes. All right, save it up. Okay, cruising back here. Dexter looks cool. Monterey, what am I going to do with you? What am I going to do with you? Give you some tarot cards, maybe? I'll have to rethink that. Silas, I'm pretty happy with. Okay, well, I'm going to leave it there because it's hard talking to yourself for a couple hours. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for joining me and for your suggestions. It's been great. If you have any more, just post them. Like once this gets up on YouTube, please just throw some stuff in the comments. Fardane, you are not allowed to post anything in the comments. Oh, look, you just did. Yeah. Yeah, let me know what other suggestions you'd make. Keeping in mind that there's so many different ways of doing things. I've obviously gone a certain direction with these investigators. That's always a thing. I've had people, I've seen people make suggestions to decks, and they're good suggestions, but they change the deck into a completely different deck. And, that's fair. Just very curious to see what people come up with. Okay, thank you so much. I will leave it there. I believe Danielle is back next week. We will catch you then for hopefully scenario 3A back into Dark Matter. See you next week. Bye, all.